and then we'll look at it because this is a great question. And if more people show up, great to see that. And otherwise, they'll see it in the live stream. So it's loading. Hang on.
Well, now I would just put it on Waze and let them, I mean, they know what's
There we
going
go.
on.
Okay, so we are live streaming.
Joyce, I don't like Waze, so, but I have put it on Google.
Yeah, I
have
don't
put it
like
on
Waze
Google,
either.
And some places it says, it just says flood area. Well, that doesn't tell me like how the road is, or am I gonna have a detour? It just says flood
Right.
area, but
If
it
it
doesn't
says-
put me on a detour. So
Hmm.
I think it might be okay.
Hmm.
Because I'm gonna stop in Northern Virginia and then come down to Savannah.
Oh, okay. So you're going to come down 95?
Yeah,
You won't have
Most
any
of it.
problem at all.
okay.
And still working to pull up. There we go. All right. Trying to pull up what we need to look at to do that. And so if you are coming from what town in Michigan?
Let's say Detroit, for lack of a better.
Okay. All right. So coming from Detroit, and we're going to do directions. We're going to switch this. So we're starting at Detroit, and
Yeah.
the end point is where?
Savannah.
Okay. All right. So
Oh, yeah, but
So what this says is, and just hang on with the process for a second here. So
Yeah.
always Google Maps is going to take you on the shortest route, right?
Yeah.
And when we scroll in a little bit and we can see whereabouts in North Carolina, so it's taking you through Charlotte. The little picture here where my husband is, that's close enough to where I am. He's out playing pickleball, but close enough. And this is the whole area that's got so much damage. So this is going to take you down 81. I just came down 81, going up to Connecticut. So, and actually we went up through that way, turned and went that way. I'm sorry, not 81. This is 77, I believe. But
77 goes through West Virginia.
yes. So like Beckley and all that. So are you going further into Virginia to hit 95? You got some other stops along the way?
Yeah, I'm thinking of stopping at Luray Caverns over in Northern Virginia. So then I'll just end up coming down. Yeah, think
Okay.
I'm good. I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. That's funny. So what I do is I do this and then we add a stop.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we move the stop, drag it to reorder, and we say Luray Caverns in Virginia, and then it creates a whole new route. And
Interesting.
it still says the best way is to
Isn't
come
that
straight down here.
interesting?
Because, and I understand, and this might be part of my patterns, because of course, Google learns what you like. My pattern is avoid 95 at all costs. So I hate driving on 95. It is often the most direct route, because it goes right along the eastern seaboard here. But it's a bear of a road. I mean, it's just so much traffic and generally so much trouble, and it's not my favorite way because, of course, there it is taking me along 77, which is going to be a much more pleasant route. Do you have other stops you're planning on doing?
No, just that would be my only one before I get to. I'm stopping in Savannah, obviously. So
Right. Yeah, but I mean in between here because that's a
No.
long stretch.
No, I would get a hotel somewhere along the way.
Okay. And I will tell you, coming in through here, the Shenandoah River Valley is really beautiful. And if you have an opportunity to stop through
Yes.
here, like maybe stay in Luray and then
Yeah.
come hang out in here, find a place here. But
Yeah,
you know,
I did that last year. I stopped in Shenandoah and rented a cabin and spent
isn't
a
it
couple.
pretty?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and then of course, you've got North Carolina, what you'll find in this part of North Carolina is the hotels are pretty full, because all of the workers are actually the recovery and relief workers are all having to stay here and drive 2 hours to work every day to get to Western North Carolina because it's devastated here. So we found that hotels were very, very full with, and you could tell who it was because there was all these, electric company trucks and you could just tell by the company names and what the trucks were with the work equipment that they had on them.
Yeah.
And then in
Okay.
the breakfast bars,
All right.
you were talking to the guys who were doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, of course. And that was a tech question, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when we use technology to do any kind of mapping, there's so many fun things that you can do and so many options, and I like to really play with my options. I will spend um a long time mapping out a trip through Google Maps and figuring out what are my options. And then I'll do like search along the way. And when you search along the way, you get to see, oh, look, I didn't know that was there. And you find a new destination that is something maybe a little bit
Yeah.
off the grid. Lots of fun stuff. Joyce.
Okay, so I have been using Waze for years, and I especially like the fact you get the live traffic. So if there's an accident and they review.
Yes.
Does Google Maps do that too?
Yes, it does. And what I don't understand and why I personally don't use Waze, because it's very effective. It has a lot of good things. Why I don't use it is because that the live traffic part is actually annoying to me because I feel like I should be contributing to it. I'm driving. I should not be contributing to anything while I'm driving. I shouldn't be putting, oh yeah, there's a traffic stop there and you know what I mean? If I'm stopped in traffic and have nothing better to do and can put that phone in my hand, great. But I'm just worried about the fact that I'll be compelled to do something that I shouldn't while I've got my hands on the wheel.
There are plenty of people who have partners who are driving and doing that, or, I mean, I don't let the guilt get involved. I just like to know it's useful. I mean, I like when they warn me, object on road. I mean, that's important and it's.
Yeah. Yeah, but Google Maps does also do that.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll see as once you've routed your map and you're going along, you can see and we of course, connect it to our car. So
Right.
And it talks
whether
to you.
it's
Yeah.
so it's on the big screen.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it talks to you just like Waze does?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the talking part is optional.
Mhm.
For some folks that's annoying. I personally like it to talk to me because I like to know well in advance when something's happening and I can plan accordingly for it. So yeah, it's very useful. It will also tell you if there's a speed trap ahead. Yeah, pretty much the same thing that Waze does. Yeah. And what's cool about what I really like, because I do everything Google. If I'm, for instance, looking, hey, I'm going back up to Virginia, and what was that hotel I stopped at, or what was that town I was at? I can go to photos and in photos find where I was, like, because I've got them all connected. So, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, Andy. And Renee, I'm sure, in there somewhere.
Right
Right here.
Morning. Um,
I'm
so
gonna make
yeah, so I
turn.
find that really, really helpful. So I'm just gonna bounce there for a second. And
Here.
so let's say, well, and of course, I've got all the stars, things I've marked, lists that I do, places I've been to, that kind of thing. That's all really useful, particularly if I want to go back to it or whatever. But then if I'm going to be in, let's see, photos, and I go to Google Photos, and I can go, and I'm used to looking at it on my phone. I've never looked at it here, so I don't know where it is here. Let's just explore for a minute. Places. Yeah, so if I go to places here, then I can look at places and move this little thing. And it's going to go by, pictures. Where were we here? And it's telling me exactly where we were, and grouping them all together in this one particular little trip that we went to Cherokee. So that's kind of fun too, because I've used that feature to look and find something that I couldn't remember, where I was or what I was doing or that kind of thing. Oh, Terry made it. Morning, Terry.
I lost track of time. I kept thinking the class started at 9.
Yeah,
I
Medina
was set
too.
back a couple months.
So Medina, by the way, is good. She her town got hit pretty hard. She still has sporadic internet and cell service. Last night, or yesterday during the day, none of us had cell service anywhere because in the recovery efforts, 2 major lines were accidentally cut. And so cell service was out all over Western North Carolina for Verizon and one other company. I don't know what the other company was. I stopped paying attention when they said Verizon because I went, oh, that's great. So it's she's still dealing with that kind of thing as well, but she's doing okay. So it's a mess up here. Do avoid it. But if you're traveling and you want to spend some money here, it helps the people too. It's a double-edged sword. Anyway, so we were going to talk about security today. And I want to start with, speaking of Google and how much I like it, there's a new scam. And I want to tell you the details because it's so much fun to constantly have to deal with this kind of thing. So billions of Gmail users at risk from sophisticated new AI hack. Now, there are all of the red flags that I know you all are very good at identifying, but this one is, they're calling it a very, very realistic. And so, again, you have to put your heavy duty radar on to pay attention. So what people are getting is, let me get to the meat of it. This guy who wrote the article received a notification asking him to approve a Gmail account recovery attempt. Okay, so let's think about that. You know how when you put all of your passwords and your security stuff and everything, and then, oh, you forgot and you have to get in or whatever, that's different than a recovery. Okay, so a recovery attempt, and they'll probably change the wording as we speak about this, but a recovery attempt is to get the user to a fake login portal to harvest your credentials and then use your accounts for whatever. So the person who got this notification, and it doesn't say whether or not he got it as an email or a text. I'm guessing it's an email. But I know that when I have several accounts that I share with folks and for organizations, and when someone who's not normally logging in, but has the password and is, been given access to the account, tries to log in, I get a notification saying, "Are you attempting to log in?" And you say, "Yes, it's me." Now, this happens when I'm logging into my own account and I'm somewhere else. I'm at a public computer. I'm logging into one of my Google accounts, and then it's going, because I've got two-factor authentication, which you want to use, is saying, go check your device. And so I go get my phone, and my phone says, "Are you trying to log in?" And I say yes. And then it says, "Here's a number." And it's usually a 2-digit number that you're then going to put into the public computer. So my phone will be like a white screen and it'll have one number here. And it'll say, "Put this number in the computer screen." And so on the computer where I'm trying to log in, it says, "What's the code?" And I'll put in 36 or whatever the number is. And then it allows me into that account. So that's me trying to get in using two-factor authentication. What's happening with the Google one is it's mimicking that. So of course, if you are trying to get in to an account and it's you and it's you, no big deal. If you share an account with somebody and let's just say, I don't know, your one of your children has access to your account and they're checking something or they're working with something with you on something and you not sure if it's them right now, and you go, "Well, they do live in New Jersey," so because it'll say an attempt is being made, and it'll say the location. Yeah, okay, my son's in New Jersey. That's probably true. It's worth a call to ask the other person who shares that account with you if they are attempting to get in and to find out. What I would do is I would tell them, "Look, when you're going to sign in to this account, let me know in advance so I don't have to worry about it. Hey, Mom, I'm going to be working on, our photo album today. So I'm going to log into our shared account, don't worry about it." Okay, great. Tell the person in advance. That makes things much easier. To go on with the story. So what happened was, 40 minutes after this guy denied the recovery attempt, 40 minutes, he received notification that he missed a call claiming to be from Google Sydney. Okay, Google is not calling you. I'm just going to go to sleep, Google. Google, I have to say it quieter. The G is not calling you. Nobody is calling you from one of these tech companies. They're not. They think about how many people use it. They're not calling. So then he ignored that. A week later, so this was a very, very persistent on an individual person. A week later, he got another notification request. Oh, here comes Medina. Yay.
I couldn't get in.
Huh. Well, you're here now.
I just got this message waiting for host to begin the meeting and all right, so
Maria had an issue too, but here we are.
Okay.
So we're talking about a very good AI scam to get into Google accounts. So a week later, he got another notification for an account recovery approval. Ignored it. Just as before, 40 minutes later, he got a call. And this time he picked up the call. And it was an American man claiming to be from Google support. And the man confirmed there was suspicious activity on his Gmail account and claimed that an attacker had access to the account for about a week and downloaded the account data. Now, this is a long game. Think about it. It was a solid week later. So this same scam is happening. It's not like it's another entity trying to scam him. So the guy says that triggered major alarm bells for him. So while he was on the call, he looked into the phone number where the call came from, and a quick Google search showed it was a legitimate number from Google's business page, something we all know to do. go back and verify, what is this? However, we know that it is very, very easy to spoof a phone number. We've talked before about getting a phone call from ourselves, right? It's very easy to change in the settings in a phone where a call is coming from. Normally, you pick up the phone, you go, oh, okay, Medina's calling me. Hey, Medina. But that who's calling is very, very easy to change. We could all do it. We could all pretend to be somebody else today. So he didn't buy that. So he asked the caller, because he's still on the phone, he asked the caller to send him an email to confirm that this was the real deal. They did. They sent him an email. The message looked genuine, except that one of the addresses in the to field was cleverly used as a non-Google domain. But the biggest giveaway was the caller said, hello. He ignored it. And then 10 seconds later said, hello again. And at this point, he realized that the voice was AI, because he said the pronunciation and the spacing of the words were too perfect. So he could hear the voice and know that it was not a real person because of the spacing.
Oh,
That makes it very, very difficult.
How
So
many
then
of us can do that?
what's that?
How many of us can tell the difference?
I know. So he hung up, but I think the bottom line is that this is just a new way. And using voice, I think about, as savvy as we are, at our age, we probably don't all have perfect hearing. And may be very difficult to hear things. Linda's laughing. Let's try to say it
What?
delicately, huh? So that means that it goes back to that don't be rushed kind of deal, right? Because always the bottom line with scammers, they are trying to make us make decisions without engaging solid thinking, by putting a sense of urgency. So, oh my gosh, ma'am, this is Tom from Google support, and have been hacked and your account has been, exposed for over a week and they're downloading your data. Sense of urgency, and that's what the caller told this guy, was that there was some urgency about it and that they needed to take action now. Okay, well, if it's been hacked and it's been open for a week, where somebody's been downloading all his data for a week, there is no urgency. That barn door is already open, right? So, okay, here we go. And so always remember that your biggest tool is take a breath and be patient and wait while you think about this a minute. If somebody is, pressuring you into anything, and most of the time, we're not going to answer the phone these days if we don't know who it is, right? And it's a wonder to me that this person got through, because I wouldn't have answered the phone, but I'm wondering if I would have answered the phone if it said Google support or something like that. And if I had just gotten that screen message that said Google, I'm just wondering. But given that I know if I'm not taking action on something right here and now, and it's not something that I expect, the unexpected is probably not going to be real, right? So, but it's hard to remember in the moment, because things are looking and sounding even more real than ever before. So we just have to be vigilant. And like you said, we probably won't be able to hear that difference in the Google Voice, but that you can ask them to send you an email. You know, they're an email company. They can send you an email. Ask them, you know, let me call you back. And then, of course, not call that number, but if he, so here's how phone spoofing works. If on the phone it says it's Google support, and then he went to do a Google search and look and see what would be a phone number for Google support, which I really can't believe you can call them. I have to think about that for a minute. It's so hard to get anybody, and they really there was a phone number. But let's just say that that was true. I mean, I believe this story. Then go find that number yourself, call that number, and I guarantee you, you're not going to get that person you were just talking to or not talking to. With, you know, if it was AI, you can spoof a number, but when that person calls the number's not going to go back to the spoofer. It's going to go to the actual number. You know what I mean? So if I get a spoof and it says it's from Martin, and I look at the number there, whatever that is, great. But if I go and I look in my records and I see, oh, okay, Martin's number is this, and I call Martin's actual number, I'm not going to get the spoofer. So that's another way to kind of break the chain. So be aware that this one is out, and the headline says billions of Gmail users at risk. Billions.
Wow.
Most of the other hacks have been millions. This one's in the billions. So
Wow.
Wow.
any questions about that one?
Me?
So much fun.
Betsy, I do.
Th- Go ahead.
What is it, a third stage of security when they actually email John? That's only been since I had I guess it was 2 years ago when I had something, with PayPal that I got screwed around with. And John gets a notification, and right now it's usually yell across the room or leave me a message, you know, did you try to get into Google? But it was I don't know how I got that.
So if you're setting up your two-factor authentication, and you can change this as often as you want. I was just reviewing it yesterday. I don't know why. I had some spare time, but I was looking at the various ways that you can put things in place. So I'm going to go to my screen. Let me get the right one so it pops up for you. And let's see. Sorry for you watching me do this, but here we go. All right. If I don't do it this way, it won't come up the right way. All right, share screen with this. And this is my Great Heart Helping Hands Google account. And so when I just go to my little avatar up here in the corner, it shows me which account it is. When I click on that, then I get other accounts. So I see I actually have 6 Google accounts that I'm part of. So I can go to one of the other accounts, but that's not it. I want to look at this particular account. So I go to Manage Google Account. And then it takes me over to, and it looks quite different on the phone, but it's the same information. So when I go here, I can look at security and look at my security tips, how you sign into Google. Two-step authentication verification has been on since December of last year for this one. And when I click on the little sidebar here, do my password, go in, and it says, first of all, it says I can turn it off, but it tells me how I do it. You can update your second steps and sign in options anytime in your settings. Go to security settings. So I was there, and I can click on that for a minute, but I want to just go down here and look at what second steps are. What other things can I do? So I use the Google prompt. that is where it's going to send that number code to my phone. And I use that with my phone. I can use the Google Authenticator app. So there is actually an app that Google uses to authenticate things, and I can run everything through there. I personally like the Google Prompt on my phone because then that means there has to be a physical component that's right there, and that's my phone. And if I'm without my phone, my life pretty much stops. So I don't want to do that. Passkeys and security keys. What does that mean? So when we click on this, create a passkey. Notice what it does is you can start with fingerprint, face, or screen lock using passkey on this device. So right now I'm on my computer. I can cancel it. I can use a different device like my phone, or I can learn more. And I like this. This is brand new where it's really focusing. It's hilarious because I used to complain about that they kind of would hide how you do this kind of stuff, but now it's got it in a box and it says learn more. So I can find out exactly what does that mean. So if I click on this, then it's, oh, and it's going to be in the way. Isn't that funny? That's very funny. It said learn more, but then I can't exactly read all of it because it's over here on the side, but okay, I can read most of it. So interesting.
That's
Very silly. All right, I'm going to say cancel because now it gives me, I had to cancel that to actually read the article about what passkeys are. So here's all of the information that you need to know about passkeys. It tells you what kind of devices you can set up passkeys on and what you have to enable. So it's very, very detailed article on exactly how you would do that. And then create a passkey for this particular device. So for this particular device, because my computer doesn't have any biometrics, there's no touch thing that I'm going to be able to enable to do that. It would be a passcode. So I'm like, do I really want to? No, I really like using the biometrics where I'm not having to type something in or do something else. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my fingerprint on my phone when I get something sent to my phone. I also prefer not to use an email because then that means I have to open up my email. Well, if I'm on my phone in an email trying to do something and then it sends me another email, then you have to get out of that one email that it sent you through to get to the new email that gives you the verification code. And that's annoying, very annoying. So I always set it up as a text rather than an email, because as a text, then I can just, as it does a pop-up on my phone, I can tap that, copy it, and go right into the email because I'm using two different applications. Did that answer your question, Terry?
It did. Other thing that I just remembered is sometimes it'll say, open your Google Maps or open Translator or open another Google thing, and that's where the message comes from. That was, in other words, I put in for text, but and anytime it happens, it's a text. But then, as I said, oh, maybe it was in changing my password. I'm trying to think of what it was, but it said I'd get the message, open another Google thing, and the message was on there. Never heard of that? Never saw that?
No. Open Google Translator or Maps?
It just give you another Google account to go to. And on that would have your the message or a code number, whatever it would be. No,
I
okay.
can't imagine why.
Me neither. If it comes up again, I'll have to just take a picture of it because
Please, yeah. If it comes up again, do a screenshot of it because I'm really intrigued why it would go to one of those. when you've got text
Maybe
and
it's more security, maybe because if somebody else got to that point on your phone, it would be able to see the text. I don't know. I have no clue.
but I think you would have to set it up that way.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it,
You would have to set that up. Let's go back a minute and look and see, because I've never seen it give that option. So let's go down again and look and see. All right. Google prompt, password. All right, let's look at passkeys again. No, we were just in passkeys. Skip password when possible. Google prompt. Let's see what the Google prompt is. It's set as, all right. It's set as my phone. All right. You need to be signed in. Yes. And I'm currently signed in. Signing in with Google prompts. Let's see if it would do it. Learn which devices, how they protect your account, avoid phone number based account hacking. So that's what we were just talking about. Stealing verification codes, sign in attempts, suspicious activity, block suspicious activity. You would say no. And that's all about phishing attempts. Let's just see if you need to sign in if phone that isn't yours, sign in from a private browser window. To prevent the use of your device by others, turn on your phone's screen lock. All right. That's if your prompt gets expired, your phone isn't near, stop receiving prompts. All right, let's just look at this a minute and see if when we're talking about phishing attacks, why they're so effective, how to mitigate them. Phishing is constantly evolving.
down here fishing it has a whole.
It's targeted. Persuasion experts. Oh, this is an interesting article. I never know what I'm going to find when I'm in this class, y'all. I really appreciate it. All right. It doesn't talk anything about going through translator. You know, you've got me totally stumped, Terry.
Okay,
I really want to see that when that comes through. Anybody get anything like that before? Where it says open up translator? Translator, and what was the other thing you said?
I said maps, but it also was, what else do I have Google? It had 8 different, not at the same time. Each one would say something different, like go to, why can't I think of another Google app,
So, Terry, what? I mean, Jackie. So right here is our little suite. Here's all the Google apps. You've got Maps, Meet, Gmail, Drive, Contacts, Calendar, Translate, Photos, Docs, Sheets, Slides. I mean, there's a lot of Google apps.
Yeah, I know. I forget, but I said I just happen to remember Maps and Translator, but it, I have to ask John if it's on his phone too. Okay. I will look into it. I can't even remember the last time it happened, so I
want to just look at Translate for a minute here and see how in the world. I mean, I can't see how Translate would send you something.
It's a message across when you open the app, like when it normally would say, where do you want to go? What do you want to say? Or English to Spanish, or there would be a thing across the thing saying your code number is 4906.
Okay. So when that happens, when I'm trying to get in and making an attempt, what happens is right across the top, I think you might be mistaking what you're seeing because it comes right across the top. what happens is there's a little bar that has what it is. Let's see. I can mimic this. Hang on. All right, I'm going to go to my, and I did this before, my Bank of America account. And so Bank of America is very, very specific in that how I get into, it's hard to do this. But what I did, let me back it up. So I opened up my Bank of America app and I've got, let me back out because then it will, there we go. All right, when I go to Bank of America and I tap on it, the first thing that happens is it says biometrics because I told Bank of America that's how I want to get in. So I touch my finger to it. And then Bank of America says, okay, now we need to send you a code. And I say, yes, please. So it gives me an option here. Do I want a text or I don't want a phone call? I want the text. It's much easier. And then I say send code. And then I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see what happens. When I tap send code, I wait a minute. And then at the very top, boom, there it is. That little thing there says that's what your code is.
Mhm.
That's coming up at the top. Then Bank of America, who I love just for this one reason, says, okay, we recognized a text message with your authorization code. So Bank of America went, okay, you got the text, we got the code, boom, all you have to do is hit continue and you're into your account now. And so now I'm in my account because I said, yes, please, to all of this. So it's so fully automated, but it comes up right at the top there where it's now Bank of America is one of the rare ones that does this, where it notices the text and then fills it in for me. I don't even have to like copy and paste it into its little space. And I'm in. So now I'm going to log out. Do I want to log out? Yes, I want to log out because I'm always going to log out. Just saying, always. And then because I'm crazy about this, my husband says it's unnecessary, but I then close that out because I don't want that open in any way, shape, or form. So, so the little pop-up window that came right there, normally most other things. So let's do it with, let's see if Chase, if I've got it. I think Chase just lets me in with a fingerprint. Yeah, I need to set up two-factor on this. It's just letting me in with my fingerprint, which is great, but I need to make this a little bit more secure too. So that all I did was touch a fingerprint. I didn't have to get the code. I would prefer to get the code so that I've had two things to block getting into that credit card account. So that one was pretty easy, but normally it's gonna pop up as the little, here's your code to get in. I touch that right there to copy and paste, push and hold, right? And then I'm going to say copy. And then I go into the application that I'm trying to get into and I push and hold the space and put in paste. But I'm wondering, Terry, if that's what you're seeing. That
No.
you're seeing that at the top? No, you're
No,
actually
because I use
seeing
it
it.
all the time. I'm doing this maybe not every day, but I use something like that every day. You know, I know the difference in where it comes across if I'm on
Okay.
Instagram, but this is not, I'm gonna have to, as I said, either see it or think that maybe they're.
Yeah,
happening
take
settings.
be real quick to next time you're doing that because I just opened up Google Translate and again I really don't see how it's going to tell me
Yeah,
a message.
yeah.
It's a pretty blank screen. And then you've got the English, Spanish, and you can talk to it kind of thing. It's a great little app, but
It's a lifesaver since,
very
for 8 years I've lived here for having better relationships for anyone that comes to my house to do work or for out at a store anytime when it saves a lot of misunderstandings to just take that out.
Yep. All right. Any other experiences or questions about that whole thing? Making sure that when you've got your two-factor authentication, Because what I want to do is look at inactive accounts now. Was that a hand chart, Carlene? No.
No, I was turning the arrow.
Okay. Are you in the car?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, downloading our data. We are going to go to Facebook because that's the easiest one to go to. And close that. Let's go here. Let's see. Let me pull it up first because that's a much easier way for it to happen. And go to Great Heart Facebook page. There is very little in this one. It's kind of a boring page. All right, so Great Heart Facebook page. Let's say that I am done with this. I don't want to have this Facebook page anymore. And so what I want to do, what I want to start with is downloading my data. If I look here on managing this page, not sure if it's going to be over here. Oftentimes it's up here in the account, and this is going to be the same for pretty much any kind of account. This is just an easy one for me to show it to you, but any kind of account where you have data, which is pretty much everywhere, then you're going to have an opportunity to download it. And Facebook actually makes it fairly easy. So we're going to go to Help Center here, and we're going to say download data. It's the easiest way to pull it. Accessing and downloading your information. Download a copy of your information. Learn how to request and download. Let's go to this one first. View your information on Facebook. So you can download your data for each of your profiles. Now, Facebook is a little strange because it's going to have all of your stuff if you have more than one account. But this article is going to say right here is how you're going to download the data. And then you can actually, this one has very little stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. And it goes on and on and on, accessing all of your information. You can transfer your information. You can download it. You can look at your activity log, anything that you've done. So Facebook is very good in terms of giving you what you need to do to disassociate yourself from Facebook. So let's just look at download your information. We're going to go to that one. Oh, for heaven's sakes, really? All right. Why is it not available? That's interesting. Let's look and see view. Maybe difference between your main profile. Oh, okay. Download your information tool. Let's try it again. All right. I think I'm in a different place. Here we go. Click on your profile picture, settings and privacy, go to accounts, information and permissions, download. All right, so I don't know why it didn't show me this before, but here we are. So we're going to go to this little thing here. No, we're not. Oh, because I'm not in there. I'm in an article right now. Okay, so normally this is where I would go to click on my profile picture, but obviously that's not my profile picture. It's opened up two tabs. So let me know if you can see me switch between the two. Zoom sometimes doesn't let you, but I'm going to switch back. Can you see the turtle now with the hearts?
Yes, yes.
All right. So it says go to settings. So I'm going to go to my account up here. I'm going to go to settings and privacy. Going to settings, I think was the next place. Now I've already forgotten. So I'm going to click back to the other page. Settings, account, information, account center, information and permissions. So let's go back to that and see if that's what I did. Settings and privacy, settings, information and permissions, privacy center, blocking activity mode, privacy center. Privacy topics. All right. I've already gotten off of track. So I'm going to go back so that I can see my little picture here and make sure I'm following. It's like a recipe. Account center. Click information and permissions. All right. So maybe it's on the side. Here we go. Permissions. Your activity log, download your information, and there it is. So I was looking on the wrong side. These are articles in the middle here, but here's my settings over here. So settings and privacy, download your information. When I click on that, it's going to say you can download a copy of your profile at any time, request a download. How do I want it? HTML, which is website code. And my date range. Do I want it for the last 3 years, the last week? Do I want of all time? I'm going to say all time for this. Okay, now select what do I want to download. Now, why am I doing this? Let's go back for just a second and look and see why would I want to do this. If I'm going to create an inactive account, most of the people, a lot of fear and withholding from changing passwords comes from, I won't be able to get in again. I won't remember how to do it, or I'm going to lose all that information. Okay. That's what holds a lot of people back from, for instance, changing passwords. Also from closing accounts. If you have an account that you just don't want to have anymore, or let's just say you're doing this for someone else. A good friend has passed on and they put you in charge of their digital life because they know you know how to do it and they didn't have any children to do it for them. And you're the smartest technological person they know. So they said, would you please manage my digital data? Because once we pass, we don't want our digital data out there just forever, right? We would like to kind of reclaim it. So what you can do is you would want to close those accounts. But do you want the information? I mean, you can just close it, but sometimes you want the pictures or you want the messages, whether it's doing it like the scenario I said, where you're doing it for somebody who has passed on and you need to clean up that whole thing, or because you're just not going to have that account anymore personally and you need to close it. So let's say I was going to close the Great Heart Helping Hands account. So then I would want to make sure that I had all those photos, all of those messages, all of that contact information. I might want that. I honestly don't, but you might. There would be instances where you just might. So going back to the why, now the how. So do I want the messages? Any messages that I've had on Messenger with this particular account? I'm fairly certain I haven't done any, so I'm going to unclick that. Events. Are there events that happened with this account that I created with this account that I would want to save? Nope, probably not. Notes that I've published or drafted? Probably not. Gaming? Definitely not. Any fundraisers I've created? No. Now, I might want to keep the groups that I've been associated with account. I would want to keep probably the videos. Would I want to keep everybody's comments and reactions? Probably not. Navigation bar with shortcuts? For sure not. All right, pages I've liked or recommended? I might or I might not. I'll leave that. A list of places the profile is created? Definitely not. If I've done polls, if I did, sure, but I haven't. Here's the one I want. Posts that I've created. That I would want to keep. Saved items. If there was a particular video or a post that somebody did that I really liked, I would save it. Sure, there's a reason why I saved it. Stories, I tend not to do stories, so I'm going to say no. Live videos, yes. Other activity. What would that be? I don't know. Let's look and see what's included. Badges, definitely not. I don't care about that. So I'm going to say nope. All right, now here's where the meat of it is, my public profile information. Yes, I would want to download that. My friends associated with this, yeah, probably. Followers, probably. Now that I'm thinking about this, I can think of another reason. If this were, for instance, a business and I was closing the business but opening up another business, I might want to take my customers along with me or my members. So then probably I would keep that. Any other things, and it gives you lots and lots of choices of what you might want to download. Then I've got all those, and then I request download. Your download might contain private information. You should keep it secure and take precautions when storing it. So I've done all these choices, and I want to download this stuff. And let's just say I'm trying to minimize exactly how much junk is going to be downloaded here because I really don't need all of this. So I'm going to unclick some other things just because I don't want this to be like huge. Friends, followers, yes. Activity messages, probably not. Bonuses, nope. Professional dashboard. Now, if there's nothing in there, then it's not going to be any data anyway, right? But let's just do this. Now, let's see what happens when I request the download. And a copy of your information is being created. And generally speaking, what happens is when a download happens, I'm going to get a notification up here that said your download is ready. This is sort of anticlimactic.
When you clicked on download the information, there was a red circle with a line through it. What did that mean?
That just meant that I can't do it again because it's in the process of.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if I go down here, see
Yeah.
how it says you can only make one download request at a time.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that request is happening. I think, oh, let's see. I got a notification up here. No, that doesn't have anything to do with that. I thought maybe it might show up there. So in this particular account, it's not a lot of stuff. So we'll just see what happens. While we're doing this, I'm going to go back and go to my little article here. And I'm going to go to deactivate or delete your account. So that would be the next step. If I'm in this process, I would go to deactivate or delete your account. What's the difference? So deactivating, I can reactivate it at some point in time. I'll save us time from looking at that. Temporarily deactivate your account. I'm going to Europe for 6 months and I don't want any activity on this account whatsoever. So I would deactivate the account. Once I've done that, I can then reactivate the account. I come back from Europe, I'm ready to get busy with this, whatever it is, I can reactivate it and there it would be right there. Then I've got the permanently delete your account, which is I've had it. I don't want anything more to do with Facebook. You're annoying me beyond my capability and I'm going to delete it. So going here, it tells you in very simple language what happens if you do it. Your profile photos, videos, and posts will be permanently deleted. You won't be able to retrieve it. And that's why we did the download. So everything that we did just before this is because of this, because, oh, I might want that picture and I don't have it somewhere else. And so this is what happens if you permanently delete it. Going down, if I don't want all my content deleted, I want to take a break. That's again where you would temporarily deactivate it. And it says learn how. Now, here is how to permanently delete. And like I said, I'm not talking about that I'm going to delete a Facebook account. It's any account whatsoever is going to give you an opportunity to go through step by step, teaching you how to do it and get rid of it. So going down here, here's the steps to do it. You're going to go to it and you're going to select delete account. And then it's probably going to ask you for sure that you want to confirm. You click continue, then follow the instructions because they really don't want you to go. And here's how to do it. Can I cancel my delete? Okay. If it's been less than 30 days and you've had a change of heart, your situation has changed, you can cancel that deletion. So when you cancel an account or delete an account, Facebook is going to give you 30 days to make it up. And it says it may take up to 90 days to delete everything that you've posted. So know that you have 30 days to change your mind. It still may take 90 days where people wouldn't be able to see, but it gives you, again, information. Here's how you would stop the deletion if it's within 30 days. So there's another account that I did want to delete, and I have not gone through the full process.
See you next week. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're almost out of time. I didn't go through the full process. What I did was I deactivated an account. I need to go back in and completely delete everything that I've done with that account because I am done with that one. I took you through the Facebook one so that if there are other accounts that you want to do that with, you can see it's just a step by step by step process. The most important thing is, because those things live forever, take that stuff off. And Terry, you can actually shut down there.
Okay,
Because I'm host, so it's not going to affect
okay,
me.
I just text you the explanation.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, for next week or whatever.
So make sure, everybody, that you do actually delete your account if you don't want that information out there, because what's on the internet stays forever unless you remove it and stop access to it. That's information that's useful in a lot of other realms besides Facebook. Facebook was just an example. Question.
I think something for a
Jackie.
future meeting might be what to do with our accounts in case how to give somebody else access, exactly as you said, to
Yes.
take care of our accounts if we can no longer do so.
Legacy.
Exactly. Legacy. And that's where I was going to get to. And I realized that I talked too much today and we ran out of time. That was the next piece of this, Joyce. So we will carry on next week with that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Have a
good
good
week,
day.
everybody.